Every story is a treasure. Come on. Take a journey in the pages. Open up your mind. Every story is a treasure. Come on, let's unwind. Adventures waiting right behind the cover's door. Reading takes you places you've never seen before. Story time, time, time. Every book's a friend of mine. Story time, time, time. In the pages, stars will shine. Children living in the pages. Open our mind. Every story is a treasure. Come on, let's unwind.
If you are a 90s kid and watch Nickelodeon, odds are you recognize many of these shows that have become cherished childhood memories and adulthood nostalgia. From Salute Your Shorts and Hey Dude to the original Nicktoons, Doug, Rugrats, and Ren and Stimpy, we see images of these past staples of weekday afternoons and weekend cartoon blocks, and are instantly taken back to a simpler time in life, when the cares of the present day and responsibilities of adult life were faraway wonders in our young growing minds. We enjoyed watching and relating to the adolescent struggles of Clarissa Explains It All, getting the spooks from Are You Afraid of the Dark, and rooting for the kid contestants in Nick's mini game shows like Double Dare, Legends of the Hidden Temple, and Wild and Crazy Kids. There were a number of shows on Nickelodeon that made childhood feel like it was ours, and this programming belonged to us in these amazing years. And one of these for me was this little gem of weird childhood nostalgia. You might know it as The Adventures of Pete and Pete. With its surreal style of music video cinematography and everyday coming-of-age stories, created and made by people without interference from the Nickelodeon corporate office, this show was and still remains something special. But that's a topic for another day. We're here to talk about The Adventures of Pete and Pete theme song. About 1 minute long, and at the start of each Pete and Pete episode, this song was likely drilled into your head, as it was mine. But that's fine by me. It's catchy as can be and lives in my head rent-free. But have you ever stopped to wonder just what exactly are the words to this song? We all know it from childhood, and to this song, I still sing something that I'm pretty sure aren't the real words. Let's get into it. Here's my interpretation of what I think this song says. I'll warn you now, I am definitely not accurate with this.
It's kind of strange. You looking happily deranged. I can't say that you're in bed. Or have you picked your target yet? It's empty. Got your dog back. It's empty.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure none of that is close to what they're actually saying. But no one really knows what they're saying.
I don't know that.
Commonly considered a bit mush-mouthed and enigmatic and ultimately open to the viewer's interpretation like many songs, this has left an entire generation singing erroneous lyrics, probably for the last few decades. Like these songs.
I'm blue, I've been beat, I've been died, 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 I've been beat, I've been died. It doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all shooting some b-ball outside of the school when a couple wrapped up like a juice, another runner in the night. Who you gonna call? Must have damn near killed you.
You got me begging you for mercy.
And as we wind on down the road, stay the light, stay the light,
But despite what we hear, the artist is saying something definitely different. Let's go ahead and explore what the correct lyrics supposedly are. But first, more about the band. This is Polaris, also known as the North Star for its near-perfect alignment with Earth's northern pole in the night sky, and the 16th brightest star visible without the aid of a telescope from Earth. Polaris is part of the constellation of Ursa Minor, situated right across from Ursa Major, respectively known as the Little Dipper and Big Dipper. Although it appears to the naked eye as a single point of light, Polaris is a triple star system composed of the primary, a yellow supergiant designated Polaris A, in orbit with a smaller companion, Polaris AB. The pair is in a wider orbit with Polaris B, thus making Polaris a three-star system. Why is this important? Because Polaris is the name of the three-person group that sings the Pete and Pete theme song. It was the group's first release, a 1995 cassette mini-album titled Happily Deranged that contained 3 songs from the television show, including the television show's title song, Hey Sandy. This cassette was released by Nickelodeon, Sony Wonder, and only available by mail as a promotional tie-in with Frosted Mini-Wheat cereal. The offer was heavily promoted during Nickelodeon's Snick Anthology series. The cassette back ties in the band's lore with the show as being discovered by Little Pete as they were playing music in a garage one day. The band itself was commissioned specifically to produce music for the Nickelodeon television show, which was later compiled into the group's first and only album. The 1999 Mezzotint Records release music from the adventures of Pete and Pete, Polaris' singer Mark Mulcahy's own label. Mulcahy and the members of Polaris themselves, all hailing from New Haven indie rock band Miracle Legion, of which Pete and Pete showrunners Will McRobb and Chris Viscardi were both fans. In 1993, the two Pete and Pete creators approached Mulcahy about creating a theme song for the show. In a Wired.com interview, Mulcahy states Hey Sandy was the main order for a theme song, and then he was asked for other songs in a kind of descriptive way. 3 more songs were required for the show's inaugural season, including Summer Baby, which the band played live on the first season's finale. Mulcahy goes on to describe the process as interpretive, where Viscardi and McRobb would communicate a particular idea, and Mulcahy would create a song. That process continued on for the next 3 years, with 4 new songs each year. By the time the show was canceled in 1996, Polaris had produced 12 songs, just enough for a respectable rock LP. But Nickelodeon's parent company, Viacom, didn't see much use in releasing an album by a fictitious band. However, when frontman of Polaris, Mark Mulcahy, approached Nickelodeon, they would allow him to release the music on his own. With Nickelodeon's indifferent blessing, Mulcahy used his own label to release the 12 songs. Music from the Adventures of Pete and Pete came out in 1999, and in the years after that, the band, like the show, faded into anonymity. So, just what are the actual lyrics to this vastly misunderstood song? A quick Google search led me to Genius.com, where I found these lyrics. This site gives a detailed breakdown on each line of the song. Also, there's an About section, which tells what the song may be about. It also attempts explanations of why the song sounds so mumbled and indecipherable. The song description here reads as a scene from a relationship between 2 friends, suggesting an encounter on the streets, while the eponymous Sandy is walking her dog, which then becomes the site of an emotional and perhaps violent confrontation. The description goes on to detail the background, stating, while its early creation precedes the series, it was famously recorded for the show in a display of mumbling. It has been speculated that the often indecipherable lyrics exist to obscure themes too complex or provocative for a children's show. But it may have been recorded hastily, and it was the 90s. Mumbling was popular, especially in alternative rock. Let's go ahead and explore these lyrics and decipher their meaning. Here, the narrator is reaching out to the Sandy of the song's fascination. Sandy's face is distorted by her bizarre expression as someone who enjoys a fight. The writer suggests both familiarity and danger. Wait, what? Let's hear that again. Nah, that's not what I hear. It's more like this. Doesn't that seem to fit better? I mean, it could be saying a lot of different things, like this. Or this. Maybe even this. I have no clue. But here's what the best minds online say. Any transcription here is an adventure. Singer Mark McKay said in 2015, "It's one of the very few secrets that I have. No one is right. Nothing that anyone has guessed is right." And that's totally fine. Many songs, no matter how catchy or good they are, remain a popular topic for years just because of indecipherable lyrics. Danny Tamborelli, who played Little Pete, claimed that it's actually, "Can you settle a sure bet?" This couplet, bet and yet, rhymes better. Also, the Live at Lincoln Hall recording supports this as well.
Can you settle a sure bet?
The line has been popularly heard as, "Can you settle to shoot me?" In 2020, Polaris released a lyric sheet. Though intentionally blurred, the word shoot seems to be visible. This may bolster the theory that the song is about the Kent State Massacre. The Kent State shootings occurred on May 4th, 1970, and were the killing of 4 and wounding of 9 unarmed college students by the Ohio National Guard on the Kent State University campus. Of the 4 that died, one was named Sandra Lee Schuer, also known as Sandy. It is speculated that the eponymous Sandy of Polaris' song may allude to this woman and nod to other media surrounding the time of the Kent State Massacre, one being the Harvey Andrews song Hey Sandy, whose lyrics are addressed to her.
Hey Sandy, why were you the one?
Also in the song Ohio, which was written immediately after the shootings, folk rocker Neil Young made a reference to Schuer in the chorus.
What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? How can you run when you know?
Speculation aside, maybe it's a metaphor, where the singer asks Sandy to finally commit to him, or find someone else to hurt. Equally possible, the words might be nonsense, which lends itself to the fanciful and sometimes surreal tone of the show. The rest of the lyrics of the song are pretty self-explanatory. Another notoriously misheard lyric is "Don't You Talk Back." It certainly evoked the narrator's ambivalence toward his future with or without Sandy, and is kinda in tune with the narrative of the show's adolescent coming of age. However, "Does your dog bite" is almost certainly the correct lyric. If Sandy's dog were, let's say, a Rottweiler, it would suit the narrator's perception of her. Although, the dog is probably metaphorical, representing Sandy's capacity for callousness or cruelty, which leaves it possible to consider that one bite could kill the relationship, and the narrator is just asking Sandy to allow him to get closer. So that's it. That's what they're saying. After all these years, I've been thinking it's something different, but it was so simple, yet really difficult to discern as well. The final song on the album, The Monster's Loose, is followed by a contrasting epilogue of various excerpts from scientific lectures, news reports, and other ephemera. Perhaps it suggests an acceptance of the changing times and media that must be embraced as a part of growing up. No longer are the familiar shows of Nickelodeon plastered on our screens. No longer do we sit glued to the TV like we used to when we were kids. It's replaced with responsibility and work, leaving many of us who are still kids at heart longing for those simpler times. But the collective power of our past childhood nostalgia is strong among us 90s kids, and there's still glimpses of the past in today's media. Just recently, Pete and Pete returned in a music video, much to my delight. Check it out, it's called Water Underground by Real Estate.
Lucky for Martin, an extra frosty orange Lazarus can supercharge your spirits with just one slurp.
Water underground. Won't you cool me down, wash over me? Water underground. Won't you cool me down, wash over me?
Also, there's this brief cameo of Pete and Pete in I Saw the TV Globe. Thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed making this for you. Don't forget to like, also comment, and please subscribe. My heater's broken. Better look for a new one online.
You know you want to see it,
Nuh-uh.
but your Ancestry.com showed you were 10% German. It's in your blood. Do it.
Nope. Nope.
Heil Heater!
Oh, hello there YouTube. Welcome back. I'm just out here enjoying my morning coffee and playing with some of this stuff. This is a mesmerizing material called kinetic sand, which can be molded like clay, but also somehow feels silky and is enjoyable for kids and adults alike. It's simply marvelous how much joy you can get by just squeezing kinetic sand. The concept of having sand that mimics wet beach sand, but it's moldable, sticks to itself in your hands, and can be shaped, sculpted, and sliced is just breathtakingly amazing. Who's a good boy? Creating a moldable play compound is exactly what a company called Delta of Sweden did with their invention called Delta Sand that is now marketed as Kinetic Sand. It's an interactive and three-dimensional building toy that holds its shape just as easily as it tumbles through a kid's fingers. Kids could make intricate designs by molding it, cutting through it, squeezing it, and spreading it, and they could just as easily break it up as you would sand on a beach. The company made it possible by making it using 98% sand and their 2% patented technology hidden within the binding agent. So, where exactly did kinetic sand come from? This question has been answered to varying vague degrees, but after exhaustive research and reading countless articles, I believe I may have the definitive answer for this simple question. Still considered relatively new to the toy scene, kinetic sand has widely been considered a creation of Spin Master Limited. Although they are the company that trademarked it as a kid's toy in January 2014, there is credit due to two aspiring inventors, Jonas Modell and Stefan Thuresson, both development engineers who met at Halmstad University in the fall of 1991. Already then, the two planned to start companies right after graduation, and 3 years later, they started developing products together. After another 3 years, they were finally able to develop the perfect product. They found the magical 2% that would go with the 98% regular sand that would make it moldable like wet sand. The result gave birth to movable, reshapeable sand that doesn't dry out, degrade, and sticks only to itself. The process for making this product is proprietary. We know that the special sand is coated with a nano-thin layer of polydimethylsiloxane, PDMS, or silicone oil. Although we don't know the exact recipe or procedure, we know that the patent for its material composition was filed as early as 2005, and the patent for its method of manufacture was filed in 2007. In 2005, Delta of Sweden pursued a new business strategy to become a subcontractor to various licensees instead of selling kinetic sand under their name. This is where Spin Master, the largest Canadian toy giant, came in. In 2014, the products were sold in the Spin Master's Kinetic Sand range and outsold the dolls in the Barbie line that was popular in Japan. It is larger than Barbie in Japan today. Notably, that same year, Waba Fun, a toy company focused on building and construction sets for occupational therapists and children with special needs, also became known for Kinetic Sand and Superstructs through its licensing of Kinetic Sand and building sets for children 3 and older. These days, kinetic sand with dilatant material made from ultrafine sand and polydimethylsiloxane or silicone oil is marketed, trademarked, and produced by Spin Master Limited and Waba Fun. As we could see, both ventures were successful up to this present day, and kids everywhere in the United States and more than 50 other countries are the beneficiaries of this wonderful invention that provides unlimited hours of fun playing. Thank you for watching my video essay. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Why do Christians give up meat for Lent? The tradition of eating fish on Fridays, particularly among Catholics, has roots in the 1st century AD, stemming from the Christian practice of fasting and abstaining from meat on Fridays in remembrance of Jesus' crucifixion. Furthermore, the Catholic abstinence from meat on Fridays is in observance of the overwhelming hunger that zombie Jesus will have upon his return on Easter Sunday, the idea being that there will be plenty of flesh for zombie Jesus to consume, and for those who fail to follow the fish on Friday rule, they will soon find their flesh being ripped apart by a hungry, undead Jesus on Easter morning, accompanied by the Easter Bunny, who collects the skeletal remains of zombie Jesus' victims to grind the bones into powder to be used in dyeing eggs and making confections for all the good children who eat their fish on Fridays. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel if you're subscribed. If not, click the link for regularly uploaded content.
And remember, I'll eat anything you want me to eat. I'll swallow anything you want me to swallow. So come on down now. Chew on a dog.
It was 1988. The presidential election was coming up between George Bush Sr. and Michael Dukakis. The Netherlands had just connected to the internet. Ron Weasley and Adele were born, and I was only 2 years old. Tim Burton's second film, Beetlejuice, launched on the big screen this year and became an instant cult classic. With a bit of an adult theme, there was limited merchandising and no toy lines launched for the movie. So, in the following year, Kenner launched a Beetlejuice toy line that was based on the movie, more or less, with a splash of the new animated series mixed in. The cartoon line launched in 1989 and ran until 1991, and it became a big hit with young audiences. Kenner's new toy line tried to capitalize on that success and still pay homage to the original movie.
The man next to me is the one I want. You ask me, I'm answering. Yes, I love that man of mine.
The first wave of Beetlejuice action figures included 6 figures in total, which included Adam Maitland, Otho the Obnoxious, Harry the Haunted Hunter, and 3 different versions of the main man himself, Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice!
It's showtime!
Of course, riding upon that success, there were promotional tie-ins with other corporations like Burger King, releasing Beetlejuice toys for their own kids' meal.
There's a surprise in every bag. You're the grown-up to tell about the surprise.
This month, Burger King has Beetlejuice. Your kids can be part of the Kids Club and collect all 6 characters of Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
We're gonna make you love us. Can I do the surprise next time?
These Beetlejuice toys featured 6 characters from the animated series show, with 6 variations of Beetlejuice on the back of these plastic statuettes. They didn't really do much, but this is all we got in regards to a true representation of the animated series in a toy form. However, Best Action would come out with the Beetlejuice and Lydia figure featuring a few accessories around the year 2022. The successful Saturday morning and weekday Beetlejuice cartoon would go on to receive a complete series DVD box set release 22 years after its cancellation. Kenner released 2 vehicles for their Beetlejuice line. The Phantom Flyer, seen here, and also the Creepy Cruiser. Both could fit any of the Beetlejuice action figures and captured the spirit of the toy line perfectly.
Pop wheelies! Give Osto a lift! Am I the ghost with the most or what?
No problem. Twist and shout, then you get out. Each sold separately. I love this car.
Kenner also released a few separately sold accessories for their Beetlejuice toy line from '89 to 1990. There was the Gross Out Meter and Snake Mask for fun roleplay. Then there was the Vanishing Vault and Collector's Case to use with the figures themselves. The weirdest of all, though, was the talking 16-inch Beetlejuice figure himself.
Can't wait to cuddle with you, I'll give you some nightmares, kid.
This is one of the more popular items from the Beetlejuice line by Kenner, and is much sought after by collectors nowadays.
Now this is a party!
I'm the ghost with the most.
The second wave of Beetlejuice action figures included only 2 figures in total, which included 2 different versions of Beetlejuice, Exploding Beetlejuice and Shipwrecked Beetlejuice. Other figures were supposed to accompany these 2, but never made it to release. In addition to the 2 regular waves of figures, another set was made available called the Neighborhood Nasties. This group of figures was made up of 4 different characters: Hungry Hog, Old Buzzard, Street Rat, and Teacher Creature.
Beetlejuice.
It should be noted that some Series 2 cards list the Squisher toys on the back, but they never made it to release. These would have included the Squisher Bugs, Squisher Finger and Wart, and Squisher Worms, none of which I have pictures of. A third wave of figures had been in development, but also never made it to release. Some of the known figures that were in some stage of development include Archaeologist Beetlejuice, Bully the Kid, Dr. Beetlejuice, Napoleon Bonaparte, Pinhead Beetlejuice, Splitting Headache Beetlejuice, the Black Knight, Rotten Roadster Vehicle, and the Shark Attack Vehicle. Besides the toy line, there's many other great examples of Beetlejuice merchandising. Some examples include cards, comics, color forms, clingers, lunchboxes, a Beetlejuice game on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and on the Nintendo Game Boy. Also popular at the time, a Tiger Electronic LCD game. Also, there were a few board games. Here's the only one I could find. In 2001, the National Entertainment Collectibles Association, known as NECA, began their own Beetlejuice line. These figures included Adam Maitland with a stretch face, Barbara Maitland with a stretch face, Spiked Beetlejuice, Shrunken Head Guy, Smoking Guy, 2 Beetlejuice figurine sets with multiple figures included, and last but not least, the Beetlejuice couch scene diorama. The second series of Beetlejuice action figures by NECA in 2008 contained only 1 figure essentially, and that was the Series 7 Beetlejuice from the Cult Classics line. There were 2 other versions of that figure also released, but using the same sculpting. A talking 18-inch figure was also made available and is considered the highlight of NECA's Beetlejuice figures. The latest Beetlejuice released by NECA is the Toonie Terrors version of Beetlejuice from Series 4 of that series in 2020. There were no other Beetlejuice releases that year. More recently, in the fall of 2024, NECA has re-released its Beetlejuice figures from the 2008 series in conjunction with the release of the new Beetlejuice movie.
They only had this guy. This is the one I want, so let's get him.
As always, thanks for watching.
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch.
I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Now what do you think?